Welcome to the 2021 Economic Depression and Preparation Channel. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for joining me on this Friday, May 21st, 2021. Heading closer and closer to the end of the month and the Memorial Day holiday. People are getting out, traveling, doing things as the economy struggles to reopen here. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Preach to me for your latest 100% financial news in the United States and beyond. Today, we're going to be talking about a summary of the week. First, the Dow Jones today, the numbers. Dow Jones up about 124 points, or 0.36% to 34,207 at the close. This follows some mixed data coming out of the economists. Economists are uncertain right now whether or not inflation, hyperinflation, is really gripping the economy, or it's just a temporary, transitory thing, as the Fed says. We got the jobless claims yesterday at 8:30 a.m. Over 430,000 people filed for jobless benefits this week. Now, to our surprise and to everyone else's surprise, this is the lowest number since the pandemic began. So we can congratulate ourselves on that. We are finally under 500,000 people for the initial jobless claims. That's not counting the continuing claims that we have. And ladies and gentlemen, we still have 25 to 30 million people unemployed, and we have another 10 to 15 million people in America underemployed, even with those degrees and stuff like that many people have gotten. And graduations, by the way, are going on this month and next month, and proms and all of that for colleges and high schools and professional schools. So also, looking at the data, Bitcoin falls as Biden targets crypto. Now the government wants a share of your crypto profits. People have been cashing out cryptos beforehand, and they haven't been paying taxes. But one person, just imagine one person has that much control over the crypto market to say that, to drop it down by 20,000, 10,000 in one day. That's very volatile. And so CNBC.com is reporting that the Fed this summer will take another step in developing, quote, a digital currency. See, now the Federal Reserve Bank wants their cut. Uncle Sam is going to get their cut regardless. There is no independent currency that's not controlled by the government or by the top upper 1%. The Federal Reserve will release a research paper this summer that explores a move to a central bank digital currency. And guess what's going to happen to Bitcoin and Ethereum and all of that? They're going to go tanking. They won't go to zero, but they're going to go tanking, because once the Federal Reserve Bank issues their own digital currency, guess what everybody's going to run to? The move of multiple countries, most prominently China, in the central digital bank currency space, has intensified talk about how aggressively the Fed should move. As you know, China was looking to outlaw these cryptocurrencies. But listen, the problem is that the faith in the US dollar is faltering. In New York, LA, Chicago, DC, Miami, Houston, Indianapolis, you name it, the faith in the U.S. dollar in the United States and around the world is crumbling. And so now the Federal Reserve realizes that cryptocurrency could be a profitable ploy to keep the Ponzi scheme going for quite some time, at least for another 2-3 years, until things go their way. So that is a possibility that we have to realize. They're saying that the Federal Reserve Bank is saying in 2023 they plan to release a payment system product called FedNow, 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 in 2023. And this would address many of the issues regarding the need for immediacy in transactions, as well as the plight of the unbanked. So now they're going to pull in those who don't bank traditional banks, or who may have an online bank. They want you to come to their bank, the Fed Bank. And so they're going to pull in everybody. The attempt to pull in everybody into this central bank represents, digital coins, of course, represent another avenue that central banks are pursuing to make payments more efficient. I don't mind digital currency. I realize that we're leaving paperless behind in a lot of ways. People get paperless bills and their email and all sorts of things. The issue that most people have with it, that my community has with it, and that others may have with it, is that they can track every purchase that you make, which they kind of do anyway now with the dollar, but now they can track everything that you do, and they can cut off your money supply to certain, if you buy a certain food of a cold, if you support a certain group, a nonprofit group, or have allegiance to a religious group or something. Now they can cut off your funds or tithes or whatever for that group. just digitally without having to go through anything, because they have control of all of your monetary resources in the system, in their system. That's the only issue that may be the drawback with that. In other news, the White House trims infrastructure measure down to $1.7 trillion for Republican support. Now, remember earlier I predicted 2 weeks that they're going to come to the table and compromise, because at this point, with $28.5 trillion in debt, you would think it wouldn't matter. A $1 trillion, a $2 trillion, a $3 trillion bill added onto it wouldn't matter, but it does matter. The measure will now cost the estimated $1.7 trillion, down from the $2.3 trillion price tag, but still well above the Republicans' offer. And so now the Democrats are playing hardball. They said they want to come down a bit. We'll come down from 2.3 to 1.7. We'll make some concessions. Of course, the Senate Republicans had offered a plan to spend $568 billion over the 5 years. White House spokesman Jim Psaki says, "It's our view that this is the art of seeking common ground." The fact of the matter is, either way, the Democrats, Republicans, either way, either version of the bill that gets passed, they're going to be taken care of. They're part of the upper 1%. They're going to get paid buku bucks, and their states are going to get paid buku bucks. Once the roads, the bridges collapse and everything, and the train system metro messes up and everything, then that's when the government may have a chance to borrow money and fix the stuff that really needs to be fixed. But how about fixing the jobs? See, the thing about this is, about the digital currency and about all these things that they're talking about, is that no one is talking about job creation. You notice that? Not Fox News, not CNN, not MSNBC, none of the American ABC, none of the American stations talk about how we're going to create these. Remember, before it was all about this new green jobs, and what happened to all of that? All of that was silenced because debt has taken over, and now people are worried about the bond market collapsing in New York and in Wall Street. That's coming up too. So the things to look out for this summer, I'm going to summarize the 3 things to look out for this summer that we're going to be careful for. A black swan event related to the shutdown. Again, the second shutdown due to these variants increasing, even though people have supposedly gotten vaccinated, 100 million people they say, and all this stuff. So look out for that as well. Continue to stock food, water, medicine, clothes, security, anything that you can get now and this summer, continue to get, because the inflation is not going to be transitory. It's going to last throughout the remainder of this year before we go into the deflation starting next year or into 2023, when the asset price bubbles begin to burst. And then we're going to have to look at not just inflation. We're going to have to look at the bond market, and we're going to have to look at how America is going to pay back these bills that they're passing, because interest rates are going to rise next year and taxes are going to rise next year. And how is that going to affect homeowners? How is that going to affect business owners? And be out on the lookout for the third thing I want you to look out for is, when you're in your communities, cities, townships, is look out for the amount of businesses that are closed. The 4 lease signs that you see, either commercially or homeowners. Be on the lookout for how many of those come back once these economies fully reopen. I think most of the states are saying that the economy is reopening in June 15th. For some of these states, other states are saying July, and some states have already fully opened with no mask, as long as you're fully vaccinated and blah, blah, blah. So look out for that in August. How many small businesses rehire the employees, and how many small businesses you see in your downtown business sections or in these suburbs that actually come back. I guarantee you at least 50% of these businesses, small businesses, are not coming back, and it's all by design so that Big Uncle Sam can take over. The big monopoly companies can take over, as you know, and make us subservient to them so that we can't be less self-sufficient. So be on the lookout for that. Let me know what you find. I'm seeing a lot of vacancies here, both commercially and regular consumerly, vacancies that haven't come back as well. Have a great weekend, guys. Get some rest, get some fresh air, sunlight, and God bless you, and I'll talk to you very soon. Thank you.